Okay, well, I'm going to talk about subordinated clauses today. I'm going to talk about time clauses, the different kinds of time clauses, or the way we can express time clauses, purpose clauses, the way we can express purpose in English, and reason clauses. Just these three subordinated clauses. Okay, you know that a subordinate clause is one part of the sentence that depends of a main clause, the most important part of the sentence. The way we talk in a natural way is when we join two sentences and then we produce one. To do this, we have to use conjunctions, words that join sentences, etc. It depends on our purpose or what we want to express that we will use one conjunction or another. It depends on the clause. Well, for example, one example of this subordinated clause that I'm going to speak about that today is time clauses. Time clauses, as you can see here in the transparency, are introduced by conjunctions of time. Well, here I have some examples. We have when, as, while, until or till, after, as soon as, the sooner or no sooner than, hardly when, immediately, whenever, since, etc. Well, remember that we don't use a future tensile form or a conditional tense in a time clause. For example, we say, you'll be back soon, I'll stay till then. Then I'll say, I'll stay, and then in the second part, I don't use the future, till you get back. I'll stay till you get back. It's supposed that with the conjunction we express that it's a time clause as in the future. It's the same time, right? It's in tense. Another example, when he arrives, he'll tell us about the match. He'll tell us it's in the future, but when he arrives, no. The parachutist is going to jump and his parachute will open soon afterwards. Soon after he jumps, his parachute will open. And all the same. Remember that when we use the conjunction no sooner than or hardly when, we have to put both parts, okay? For example, he had no sooner drank the coffee than he began to feel drowsy. No sooner had he drank the coffee than he began to feel drowsy. The performance had hardly begun when the lights went on. Hardly had the performance begun when the lights went out, right? Notice the way we express a time clause using these conjunctions. Other examples, you can see other examples here. Immediately he earns any money, he spends it. They've moved house 3 times since they've got married. Well, this is the theoretical part. This is what you can see here in this lesson, but really it's very important that you practice this conjunction and these time clauses. You can practice them here in this website. As you can see, you can complete the gaps with all these words, and at the end you can check them. It's very important that you repeat the exercise if you fail filling in the gaps, as if you can't choose the right conjunction, it's very difficult to express correctly in English, right? Then, okay, there is another website that it's also about time clauses. As you can see, the format is quite similar, and but now you have to choose the right option, right? You have different options, and then you have to choose the one that is the most correct, right? Okay, then here you can check the answer, and you have other grammar here. It's quite interesting, this website about time clauses, right? Then remember, to practice what you learn here is very important, and if you have the resources in the internet, you have to use them. Okay? Well, another clause I like to talk about today is the purpose clause. Purpose clause is, as its name says, it's used to express purpose, the reason why we are doing something, etc. Purpose is normally expressed by an infinitive, as you can see in the transparency. For example, he is to ask someone the way. So we don't need a conjunction, but conjunction is also used. The most used, or some of the most used conjunctions are so as, in order. They are used with a negative infinitive to express a negative purpose. Here you have an example. He left his gun outside so as not to frighten his wife. Or with to be and to have. She left work early in order to be at home when he arrived. And when the purpose is less immediate, we say she learned typing in order to help her husband with his work, etc. They all express purpose, the reason why we are doing something. As in the previous clauses, they are used to join two sentences, one explaining the purpose of the other. Purpose is also expressed in English with using for plus gerund. And in general, we use it to express purpose, general purpose of a thing. For example, a corkscrew is a tool for opening bottles. Right? Remember the gerund after the for, the preposition for. Purpose clauses are also for by, so that, in order that, too. These men risk their lives so that, in order that, we have lived more. We may live, more safely. So notice that there are not a lot of conjunctions here, but with for to explain what an object is used for is very important in technical English, and so that, in order that, is quite used in formal English. Right? Okay? Then you can practice, or you can have more practical activities here in this website. As you can see, you can practice all these conjunctions here, and there is an explanation that is quite useful for you, and so you have practicals. You have 10 exercises and so on. Remember that purpose clauses are very important in English, and it's very useful for you to practice them. Okay? And the last type of clauses I'm going to explain now, it's reason clauses. In reason is you explain the reason, not the purpose. Remember that there is a difference between reason and purpose. Don't confound them. Reason is when you explain the reason why you are doing the things, why you are doing something. As really they are an answer to the question why. One of the most important conjunctions is because. Because, or also as, since, so as not, to plus infinitive again, and therefore and why. For example, we come there because it was too dark to go on, because, the reason. I don't know why they come there. Notice that we can use the question and the answer. But really the difference is we're explaining the reason, and here we don't know. We don't know the reason. Notice the difference. The meaning is the same, but we have to use different conjunctions because here we don't know, and here we are explaining the reason. As we didn't have any money, we couldn't buy anything to eat. The same again. We are expressing the reason. Since you won't take advice, there is no point in asking for it. It was too dark to go on, so we come there. Therefore is another useful conjunction, and it can replace so, but it's normally used in more formal English. Therefore is formal. The delegate from Finland has not yet arrived. We have therefore decided to postpone the meeting till tomorrow morning, right? And you can see some practical activities than before in this website. And it's more the type, in this website is more the type that you can practice. Here you have different subordinated clauses. In this case, reason. Then you have more examples, and really they are separating the parts of the sentence because they want to explain you that they are different parts. And here you can have a look at the home, etc. It's a very interesting type of website in which you can practice subordinated clauses in general. Right, and that's all today. Thank you, and see you in another session.